This is the Zone Football League.
Welcome back to another episode of the Zone In podcast, where we talk everything Zone Football League across Newcastle. As always, I'm Mason, and joining me for the first time in many weeks, it seems, Wilso, you're back. How are you?
Good. Great to be back. It's been about 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Been busy.
Overseas in Denmark, you're saying?
Yeah, overseas in Denmark with a young team with Lee Sterry. That was really good. Good achievement for the young boys. I made the quarterfinals, and it was just great country, Denmark, and it's just good experience football wise for me to work with Lee.
Stayed out of trouble, did you?
Stayed out of trouble. It was difficult, but being a non-drinker these days helps my cause massively when it comes to staying out of trouble.
For sure.
And then up to Gladstone for work. Straight after, so I'm back in town, and
I can say you picked the right time to go because you didn't really miss much. With I don't know what the weather was like in Denmark, but back home here it was pretty terrible.
No, it was delicious there. It was amazing weather, but I was hearing all the reports, and it hasn't even really changed since I got back.
No,
I got up to Gladstone. It was beautiful up there, but it's just never ending here. So, which has made it really difficult, and a big couple of weeks coming up. With some teams still having to play 5 games in the next 2 weeks.
Exactly right.
The tables are going to be, up, down, and it's going to be a really exciting couple of weeks.
As tight as they are already, and then with that added part as well, 5 games, 2 weeks kind of scenario. It's definitely, and as we sit here on Wednesday night, raining as it
again.
is, doubt if some games get on this weekend even, so then it makes it even tighter.
And and then you get to a ground where you may get on, and then it's a freak storm and hail and
as we were talking about, the weekend just gone. Lots of third grades and resis got on, and then all of a sudden, like it was planned, no first grade, 2:30 freak storm.
It was madness. It really was. And then you've got games at Spears Point, and they're getting called off because of lightning, and it's been a hectic year really weather-wise. So. But what it makes for is a really exciting couple of weeks leading into what's going to be a brilliant final series in all three divisions.
Exciting, nerve-wracking, scary, all of those words. I'm sure everyone's got their own
some
takes
tired
on
legs
it.
Among
very tired.
Players,
some rotation definitely going to come into play here.
That's what we spoke about earlier in there. Points on the board is just so important because this is what can happen. You've got such a backlog of games right at the back end of the season, and the teams that are on the points, they'll be sitting pretty happy, I think, at the moment.
100%. And speaking of those teams, we'll kick it straight off with the round 20 match of the round, which saw Swansea take on Cardiff City at Chapman Oval, out Swansea that way. I did watch a bit of the stream as it was, and then afterwards I have also watched through the footage. I'm sure Cameron and CT out there would have been rugged up, and I still don't think it would have helped them.
Yeah, right out there on the water. It looked cold. It was a good call from both the boys, and it was a 6-point game, wasn't it? It was really important for Swansea to get points. They've been just niggling away just outside that 5th, 6th and 7th, and Cardiff have been really good run of their own. It's a big upset, really. I mean, when you look at the terms of the table, but it just shows how close that league is at the moment, and it's just given Swansea just a small hope with the games in hand midweek, and it's just a bit of a difficult one probably for Cardiff to take. They're travelling along so well, and now they're right back in the mire with everyone else.
100%, and so touching on that, Swansea coming out with the 3 points, 3-0 scoreline there, still currently sitting in 9th, but there's only 3 points the difference between 6th place and 9th place. In Zone 1, with Cardiff just holding on to that 5th place, that last final spot there. And in that matter as well, it's still between Katara South in 4th all the way down to Mayfield in 7th. There's still only a 3-point difference there to make finals still.
And I think we predicted this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just in and the Suns, was it a draw with Katara?
Yes.
Earlier in the week,
yes.
That game over at Spears Point, really vital point for them. And I was talking to a player from Croatia, and the talk is they don't really want to meet Katara. I think a lot of the teams feel like they're really well organised, and and this was McGuinness, and that team has been really strong, Croatia, and that would be good for Qatar to hear that there's a few teams in there that don't want to hit them in the semi-finals.
Yeah, for sure, and especially when we're looking in that top four as well. The Uni sitting in third kind of made a charge towards the back end of this season, but as we look to one of them being one of the other games that did get played on the weekend, but they lost points then to Westlakes, upset of the season.
That's a big
potentially.
upset. That's a big upset, and it can happen this time of year. University, who have been travelling along really nicely. Westlakes are just getting enough points, and they're out of that relegation fight.
Yeah.
I think that 3 points basically saves them. I think
all but,
which is a great achievement. They were in a lot of trouble early on, but that's a massive result. That's a bad one for Uni, but that's pressure. That's a backlog of games. It all So those two teams dropping points, and obviously the match of the round, Swansea out in front of there. It looked like a really good crowd. Might have been some old boys down there.
It was their old boys' day. So a few of their goals celebrated ecstatically from the canteen end. And as we touch on those goals, the midway through to the back end of that first half, Daniel Steele with a goal to open the game up there. Nice run by the winger down there, whipped it in, and Daniel just in the box, position.
I mean, it's what you got to do. Just, you can make 7, 8, all coaches tell players just get in the box.
Yeah.
I'm sure your coach tells you the same thing. You might have to do it 7 or 8 times to get one good ball in there like that. And he got the reward, and he finished it well. It was a good start for Swansea.
Yeah, 100%. And going into that half, at halftime, 1-0 up, I'm sure they would have been delighted. Flip side, Cardiff would have been little worried, little concerned about what have they done wrong, what can they do better than.
I mean, like we said, the conditions were tough.
Yeah.
You're going down there and you're down by the water. It's freezing down there. It's freezing.
At the best of times, let alone when it's coming down.
And then you go 1-0 down. And Cardiff have been resilient this year. And you're not in 5th place in this league for no reason. It's a tough league. So I'm sure they got a nice talking to, and they would have come out buoyed by that and thinking they're probably going to come back. But Blake Reeves, who was good all day, and a really nice goal in the 79th minute, really well worked. A good deep ball from deep inside Swansea's half. Broke the line, and his finish was calm, wasn't it? The keeper come out, and he just rounded him and
sat him down.
Nice little bit of arrogance, just ducked one way, moved around, and then he celebrated with the fans.
Yeah, well,
what you want.
That being even later than in 79th minute around then, Swansea probably would have thought, sweet, 2-0 up, game's done, wrapped up, celebrate with the old boys. Where's the tins? Just let's go. But then, maybe a bit of a brain snap even later than by Cardiff, just giving away a penalty late. And Mark Davis then just finishing that one off pretty calmly and wrapping it up.
Like you said, 2-0. It's one of those score lines, especially with 10 to go. You have 10, 15 minutes to go. They were coming at them, Cardiff, and it was just the penalty probably put the icing on the cake, but it also just took the pressure off as well, and they could just sort of ease their way into the final few minutes. And Blake Reeves, who was good, and the Harry Stinsel's man of the match, and it was a really deserving award for Blake. Sorry, he was very good.
Yeah, he was everywhere, and really, I think Cam and CT touched on just like real hard of that team making the cogs turn and everything, and obviously getting on the score sheet always helps. But looking then at other games across Zone 1, as we only got 10 first grade games on across all 3 leagues. So we touched on that Westlakes Uni result. The only other game to get on for the weekend was Warners Bay hosting Croatia. Unfortunately for Warners Bay, going 2-0 down, which pretty much puts them out of finals contention just. Disappointing afternoon out out at Warners Bay for them, I would imagine.
Yeah, they were in a position where they had to win all their games and results go their way. They got a couple go their way, then obviously, a couple went against them with Swansea win. It's really tightened up, and they're pretty much gone now. They'll be disappointed, but Croatia, they just did enough. 2-0 away from home late in the season. They're already in the semi-finals. They've pretty much got their hand on the minor premiership as well. Yeah. So that's still a good result for them because they could have conceded or they could have drawn, but they're just keeping the cogs going and they're ticking over, and that's what you've got to do at this time of the year, even when you're so far ahead.
100%, and as they keep getting touched on, the Croatian machine that they are basically, because it's just what they're doing is just seeming clinical and almost robotic, just week after week, just doing what they need to do, getting those results. So yeah, as you say, not as many goals as they have scored previously in games, but they'd be happy with 2 goals, clean sheet. Premiership basically in hand.
Yeah, like you said, if you're coaching that team, that's a great result. Yeah. Because it's just, like you said, it's a well-oiled machine, and that's what you want. You don't want out of the ordinary. You don't need to win 5, 6, 7-0, but you don't also want a dodgy result as well. So they're just ticking all the boxes at the moment, and that's all you can do. And I'm sure Big Popper will be pretty happy with that. Yeah,
for sure. Looking now then to Zone League 2, we got 4 games played in that division. North United with a clinical 5-0 win over Mayfield Juniors. Crowders Bay, they got on out at Spears Point against Nelson Bay with a 4-0 there. Almost. They are 1-0 away, 1 game away, a win from securing that minor premiership in Zone 2. Merriweather Advance going down 3-0 to Bawara. Bawara making that charge really after a bit of a mid-season dip.
Yeah, I have noticed,
coming back.
Yeah, it's been a nice little run from them, hasn't it?
Yeah, back up into 3rd now. Yeah. I think from memory, a couple of weeks back, we were talking about them in 7th, 8th or something like that.
When I went away, they were on a real dip.
Yeah.
A couple of close losses, and then they just started to drop away. So it was really surprising to see their last couple of results and again, how quickly you can move up the table when you get 3 points.
Yeah, and we've had them on earlier in the season on the podcast. Some say that they started losing after they were on the podcast, so a bit of a curse there. But no, Brendan Dance, the coach up there at Bulwara, obviously got them turning back over, focused again. And yeah, also then another result, Southern United coming down from Foster, South Maitland getting a 3-1 win over them.
Yeah, pretty much the results that were kind of expected there. No real upsets.
Yeah.
And Crowders Bay, again, like you said, 1 game away, so 1 hand on the trophy. I think they got called off midweek at Spears Point because of the lightning, pretty sure. And I doubt they'd get on their home game this week, which would have been nice for them to win the premiership there. But I feel like they're going to wrap it up.
Well, they do actually Crowders Bay do verse South Maitland this Friday night at Spears Point. Yep. So pretty much lightning hail aside, that game should be played, and they should basically wake up Saturday morning with hand on the Premier's plate going into their game on the weekend as well. But you'd still have to think as well for the remaining games they do have to play. They may rest players, obviously, but they'll still want to keep winning those remaining games because they still currently have they're on track for an invincible season.
Yeah. No, I think Wayne Bailey will have them ticking over nicely. He'll want them to finish unbeaten.
McBreen back as well now.
Back as well.
Yep.
So I had a call from him midweek, when their game got called off because they were going to be playing at the same time over at Edgy or just before us, I think. But yeah, no, he's buoyant. He just thinks they're going to, keep advancing the way they are, and I think Bales will have them. They'll have wrapped it up this week, but I don't think the foot won't come off the pedal. They'll be looking to get an unbeaten season, and they'll be wanting to take that into the finals as well.
Yeah, 100%. And just a weird image to share with you. Can you imagine Daniel McBreen, obviously a mate of yours, rainy Thursday night at Heaton Park at Jesmond, scoring a banger goal and celebrating with a Crabs crowd.
I can imagine it, really. This is what Daniel does. He puts himself in a position to be the hero quite a lot. And he would have been watching the way Crowders Bay were going. He knows Wayne Bailey's a coach. This is all manufactured, what's happening here. And if he's missed some games, there wouldn't have been much importance to them. But this, around now, this is when they're going to win something. Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be. Yeah, he won't want to come off, and he'll be lauded as he usually is. Our Daniel.
And on the flip side, obviously, this is the time of the season when the Crabs would hope that he's fit, firing, ready to go, coming into this final series. Obviously, they were doing well before he signed mid-year, but obviously with someone of that caliber, you want them with you and on full cylinders.
And you can win the whole year, but the semi-finals are a whole different ball game, and some teams react differently. And he's got massive experience there, and it doesn't matter what level. It's still an exciting time of the year when you're a footballer, and he'll love it. He's good for the dressing room, and he's whatever he's fit, and the weather and obviously his age will come into all of that. But if he's fit, he's going to make a difference in the semi-finals.
You were holding on to that little dig, weren't you? You were waiting to throw the age.
I can imagine playing in these conditions, with legs that old. So it would be difficult. But I'd say they're wrapping him up in cotton wool.
Yeah, for sure. And when we do look at the Zone 2 ladder then, we've touched on one more win, sees Crowders Bay get that minor premiership. Also then the promotion as well, which they'll be looking forward to. But then those final spots as well in Zone 2, Cooks Hill currently in 5th in that final spot, but only 3 points separates between them and 7th, the Lambton Jaffers.
Yeah, and that area of the table has been, quite up and down and tight all year, hasn't it? You've had the top sort of 3 pull away, but from 4th down to about 7th, 8th has been quite tight. And to hear that Lambton are out, but they were in early, and they've always been in and around it. So it's an interesting couple of weeks in Zone League 2. Yeah,
for sure. And with we said about the Southern United win over South Maitland, that puts them in a reasonably comfortable spot in 4th, but still Cooks Hill in 5th, only 3 points behind them.
5th down, that 5th spot is the one that's really up for grabs.
Yeah, pretty much. But on the flip side, Southern in 4th, only 4 points behind Bulwarra in 3rd. So,
which is you want to be in that top 3.
Oh, 100%.
Second chance.
Yep. So Bulwarra can't afford to take the foot off the gas either there. Nelson Bay still sitting in and around there in 8th. They're not counted out just yet. And Minmai then in 6th as well.
And Minmai have had a great recovery, really. They were really
same as Bulwarra, kind
of.
Really
average early in the year. I think we were going to play a game there, and it was a really important one, and they couldn't get that game played. But it's been a steady rise, really, because they were. If they weren't at the foot, they were pretty close to it.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Yep. No, for sure. And finally, rounding out the review for this week, seeing Zone 3. Again, only 3 games getting on, 4 if you include Madawi's bye. But we'll take what we can get here. But Southern Lakes going down 1-0 to would-be premiers Greeter. Also very close to that minor premiership. Curry, still very close on their tail, especially after their 1-0 win over Charlestown on the weekend. And final game for this division was Rutherford versus Bellbird, 0-0 draw, sharing the points there. Greeter, Curry, still a very much 2-horse race there.
And what's the games there in hand? How many is there a game in hand?
So Greeter have played all their games. Curry one game in hand and a bye this weekend. So
the bye is 3 points?
No points. So probably not the greatest time for them to have a bye. They'll be a bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah, they're going to need Greeter to drop a game, really.
Yeah.
I mean, for it to go their way, they're going to have to win their games in hand and the one after this week. Yeah, it's for Greta to throw away, really, isn't it? They'd be
Definitely,
pretty disappointed if they lose it from here. It's been a brave effort from Curry all the way.
Yeah, getting that win over Greta,
which
in
really
recent
opened
weeks.
it right up.
Yeah, bringing it within 3 points there.
It's definitely not over. It's not over. It's over.
No, exactly, exactly right.
There's so many interesting things happen at this time of the year. So a loss this week for Greta, and then. Then the panic starts to happen. A little bit of pressure.
Sure.
When the pressure builds, anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. The two of them are safe into their final spot, though, for this back end of the season. Just behind them, Madawi and Merriweather both sitting on 27 points, both with 2 games in hand as well. So very close for that third, fourth spot. Madawi just having their bye as well, so they've got that out of the way. Once again, it's Madawi's to hold on to, but it's Merriweather's to take.
Yeah, well, both sides have been very even all year, very close to each other points-wise all the way through, so no surprises. They're fighting out for third. Looks like they're pretty much both nailed a semi-final position. It's more likely, it's more that where they finish. So a lot to play for both teams, because that third spot is really vital when it comes to the second chance. Really difficult to come from fourth and fifth.
Yeah, 100%. And Madawi, their next game coming up against Southern Lakes, who are sitting in fifth, 5 points behind.
Yeah.
So
I guess they'd be thinking, if they win that one, they're half a chance as well. So
pretty much when you're taking points off fifth place, only 2 below you, well then you're making that gap bigger. Whether then Southern stay in that fifth place spot with only 3 points separating them, Barnsley in 6th and Charlestown in 7th. So still very open for that last spot again in this league, with then Rutherford, Garden Suburb, Bellbird just below, still mathematically able to make finals then.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good finish. And Barnsley, they'll need to win their games. All you can do is control your own destiny. And if you win your games, you give yourself a chance. Obviously, if you're hoping for other results, then you've got some things wrong earlier on in the year. You can't blame anyone for that. So just do what you can do and win your games, and then you're a chance to get the points on the board.
Definitely, and as you say, you can't be hoping for other results, but I guess in the back of your mind, you do have to be looking at who your oppositions are versing, such as Barnsley are coming up against Greta this weekend, so you'd think Barnsley probably miss out on points there. And
it's a huge game for Barnsley. They've got to throw everything at this one, because if you get the points with a week to go and you got the points on the board, then that's when the pressure does come in. If you're fighting if you're chasing points for the last round, but if you're right in the picture, anything can happen on the last day. So
100%.
Obviously, if Greta had already wrapped up the competition, it might have been a little bit easier for Barnsley, but they'll be looking to wrap it up this weekend. So
definitely,
that's an interesting fixture, that one.
Yeah, and as we spoke about before as well, whether a new rule this year or just enforcing it a little harder, there are bigger penalties this year for forfeiting games back end of the season. So teams can't really afford to just say, no, we've made finals, we'll just can the games, rest the legs. Whether that then means you rotate a few players, rest a few, or
I think there really should be no reason for a team that's in the semi-finals to call a game off or forfeit a game.
No,
I can understand if you're out of the the semi-final hunt, or there's issues, but there's really no reason. You're giving someone else an opportunity to slip into the semis under default. I think that should become down hard on, to be honest.
But when you resting some players and stuff, results can then differ.
No. Well, that's different if you're just resting a couple of players. That's fine. But that's you put yourself in a position to be able to do that. Well, then that's completely okay.
Definitely.
So.
Just wanted to take a minute to thank all of our great sponsors of the Zone In podcast. We have Deploy Football, the leading developers and manufacturers of performance sporting solutions, not only just including our awesome balls, and also sportswear with all of our grassroots clubs in helping them design and produce amazing apparel. One of our other major sponsors, Solved Marketing. If you want your problems solved, Solved are the ones to go with. Helping businesses, brands solve complex challenges with ingenuity and creative solutions. Solved Marketing is our go-to agency for all of our marketing needs, and we cannot recommend them enough. And finally, Harry Schnitzel Joint. You guys know every week Man of the Match is presented with the Harry Schnitzel Award. Definitely go check Harry Schnitzel out. And we know that all the Man of the Match recipients have been so excited to get their Harry Schnitzel Man of the Match Award and get down to Harry Schnitzel. So as we then now look at some games for the coming weekend, with fingers crossed that we do get played, we have first game we'll look at as on Saturday 2:30. We have Southern United hosting Crowders Bay. Southern, as we mentioned, 4th place, 33 points, 1 game in hand. Crowders Bay sitting quite pretty in first, 51 points, 3 games in hand. They, as mentioned as well, Friday night versus South Maitland. If they win that game, they get the minor premiers. They've then got to back it up the next day. So that's an interesting choice from whether it was Wayne or others at the club then. But you'd surely got to imagine they'd be hoping they...
Oh, I think, they're just looking to get that win on the Friday night.
Yeah.
Instead of having to try and maybe play it on the Sunday after you play something United, if they wrap it up, the pressure's off.
Yeah.
They might have a couple of celebratory beers, but not go too crazy.
Well, especially if they're going to drive all the way to Foster.
Oh, well, Foster, no, we don't want any drink driving.
No.
For sure.
No.
That's going to be a tough one for Crowders Bay to back up when you got to travel as well.
Yeah.
I just think they get the job done. I think they'll win both games.
You reckon so?
Yeah.
So that's your tip?
That's my tip.
Yeah, I reckon...
I just think they got too much power. And you can see by the points there, 1st to 4th, 51 to 33. I'm not even going to attempt the math. It was 18 points. And they've got 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at a table in that sense, there is some space between the two teams.
Definitely. But then when
we're
talking about the tightness of that lower bracket of the finals, then Southern really needing to get those points as well. So they'll be throwing everything at it.
Yeah, of course.
And only a couple of weeks back, we hosted this game on Match of the Round out at...
It was a ripper.
Very close game. Southern took the lead, and then very late Crowders with the 2 goals. Luke Muller with that winner there. So we already know that this fixture can produce a great game.
And you're right. It's the perfect time for them to get them. So if they're fighting for 3rd, secure a 5th spot with a win. And Crowders Bay are backing up after, winning the premiership the night before, if they do that. It is, ideally, it is the exact right time for Southern United to get them. I can't change my tip, though.
Well, on that, I'm going to go Southern United just because of all that. We then have Zone 1 on Sunday at 2:30. Sees Katara South in 4th, 31 points with 2 games in hand, come up against Mayfield United 7th, 28 points, 3 games in hand. I believe Mayfield do play Croatia out at Spears Point as of recording this tomorrow night.
Yep.
So their stance on the table may change, and that'd be then one of their games in hand. So going into the weekend, both teams would have 2 games in hand, but still 3 points separating 4th to 7th here.
And if it's 3 points and goal difference, it's massive as well. So the game tomorrow night for Mayfield is very important. If they were to get a point out of that, I think they'd be super happy. But again, 4th to 7th, 3 points. It's a massive game. This was a game that we called earlier in the year as well.
Mayfield's Old Boys Day at Mayfield Park. Yeah.
So
Mayfield getting the win
Mayfield
then
got the
as
win
well.
that day. So there's not much between the two teams. Like there isn't much between most of the teams in Zone League 1.
Yeah. guess it depends
it's a really
on who's...
tough one. Qatar's had to play a pretty tough match midweek against the Suns.
Yeah.
But, Mayfield are going to be playing tomorrow night, so that evens that out. I like what I'm seeing with Qatar. I think they'll win or draw that one.
Yeah. I'm probably thinking a draw is most likely result out of these two teams for this game, but in matter of bit of spicing it up, I reckon Mayfield will do the double over Qatar.
Yeah.
I think that they're both teams obviously hungry, but maybe the hunger to get into the finals outweighs that Qatar's hunger of staying in the finals. I still think
the logic's right there, mate. You're speaking with logic.
Yeah, for sure. And as you say, tomorrow night's result for Mayfield may differ their performance on Saturday, but whether they win or lose, I still think this game on Saturday is the must-win game out of their two fixtures.
Yeah, well, like you said, they've got to win to make the semi-finals, whereas Qatar could possibly slip up and still make it because they got the points on the board, which is really important coming into this last 2 weeks. So, yeah, I think it'll be a draw. I just think both sides will go at it and it'll be torrid. Hopefully the game gets on. It'll be a good atmosphere down at Nesbitt Park.
Yeah, for sure. And another game on the Sunday, 2:30, sees Madawi in third place, 27 points to 2 games in hand, taking on fifth place, 22 points, 2 games in hand, Southern Lakes. As mentioned before, Madawi obviously in that third place spot, really wanting to solidify that with Merewether on their tail for equal points, and Southern Lakes knowing that in fifth place at the moment, 7th and 8th just behind them, they'll really need the points also.
It's a huge game for so many reasons. Madawi looking to try and hold on to third with Merewether right up their backsides. Southern Lakes need a win to stay in fifth and to keep the Wolves at bay underneath them. It's at Madawi. It's a big one, but it's only 5 points between them. Southern Lakes, if results went their way, could still run third. If Merewether will lose as well. So lots on offer there. I've liked Madawi. I like them. I like the way they've done things this year. So I'm going to stick with Madawi for the win. Yeah,
well, again as well, Madawi, great outfit they've got, and nothing against them. But for personal bias reasons, I can't have them winning this game.
No.
So I'm
sometimes reverse psychology can work if you back them to win.
True. But no, for my sake of Merewether, I'm gonna back Southern Lakes here to get the job done. And once again, just the stance I'm taking is that bit more hungrier in that lower position. They'll be really fighting for it. And finally then rounding out these previews is our match of the round for this weekend. Saturday 2:30, Bulwarra versus North United Wolves. As we touched on the ladder as well, Bulwarra currently in third on 37 points with a game in hand. North Wolves second, 41 points, 2 games in hand. This one at the moment to be played at Victoria Road Complex, Bulwarra Oval. There is discussions about whether that field will be fit enough, but hopefully within the Maitland region we get this game on.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to get this one on. It's a blockbuster, really. North United, I doubt they've completely given up, on the premiership, but yeah, it's a tough one. Bulwarra, the way they've finished this season, they'll be looking to get as high as they possibly can, and it's really important for both sides to stay in the top 3. Bulwarra at home, just because they've been on a good run, I'm going to go with Bulwarra.
Yeah, look, 4 points separating it as they stand, but Wolves, they're still with an extra game in hand, but they've got to be thinking anyway, if Bulwarra get the 3 points here, that closes it to 1 point on paper, theoretical 4. But it's going to be a tough one. Definitely.
It's a tough one to pick.
Both
sides in form, and again, I mean, it's a cliche, and you've touched on it it's just whoever wants it the most, really, at this time of year. They got to start getting their mindset on semi-final football now, and that's what the coaches will be doing.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game once you get in there, and whatever's happened is left behind. So you may as well start to get into that mode, now. And this is as big as it gets for both teams. They're probably going to be, at some point of the semi-finals, probably matching up against each other.
Yeah. And I was going to, before you said that, I was going to say this is almost like their grand final, but they'll will verse again, it seems. But, look, I'm going to, in the sake of continuity of going against you in every other one, I'll go Wolves here. Yeah. I just say I don't think they'll not want to keep putting the foot to the pedal, and if they get the points here, they basically got a good enough gap between them and Bulwarra to cruise in, start thinking about finals and focus there. So
this close to semi-finals, the coaches they've probably got through the period where it can be a bit dour and it's tough and tough to get to training, or game days are getting washed out. But now you're only a week or two away. Yeah. The coaches have got to start to get their mindset on what's on offer on the big day, the grand final day. And it's a psychological reason as well, because these two are both going to be heavily involved in the semi-finals. So if you can get one over and over the other team, it does say a lot for what could happen in the semi-finals. Definitely.
And you touched on as well with washouts and midweek games being washed out and everything like that. There is questions, speculation circling forums, social media and everything like that. We just want to reiterate that at Newcastle Football and the joint zones overall, we're working with councils, we're working with Northern for Spears Point and stuff with, you would know as well, with the Premier comps starting to wrap up now. There's a bit more availability for our games to be played out there, and soon to be announced as well, Newcastle Football are working on new hub ground, which should be available to be used hopefully as of next week. So we are definitely working on it. We're not just kicking back, sitting on our hands. So doing everything we can as well. We can't actually push the season back and or shrink the final series. So unfortunately it does still mean that with all these games to still be played, they do have to be played within the 2 weeks before finals. But we're doing everything we can to make that feasible, really. And then that's why, mate, this game's important as well. If the Wolves were to win and then Greta were to win as well, but you can start to rest players. If you can't change your position, if you can't win it, or it's not going to affect you in the second and third, you might be able to, during that week, rest some players, which is completely fine. But if you're still fighting for a position, that's when it does become difficult to keep on loading up your teams, game in, game out. So this is an important one. This is a big game. Yep, 100%. Well, short and sweet this week, as wasn't much football to be played on the weekend. But yeah, look, we've done it. It's good to have you back. I almost didn't recognise you when you walked through the door, not only because I haven't seen you, but your hair's gotten longer as well.
Yeah, no, it's and your beard, that's a 4-week growth, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming along all right,
I'm becoming a man.
Yeah,
so.
Well...
it's, I can't afford a haircut, really, but I find it difficult to sit and talk to hairdressers and barbers, so... just couldn't be bothered, so...
Oh, it's my favourite thing. Just sit back, zone out, get your hair cut. But I mean, the prices nowadays,
that perm's still strong, isn't it?
Well, this is still a home job, so it's going all right. Yeah.
No, it is good to be back, and really looking forward into the semi-finals where we'll, and then into the grand finals where we're covering all the games and in the grand finals, I mean, in the top grade. So it's going to be really exciting. So this next 2 weeks is big.
Yeah, well, we had Chris Brain on last week's episode.
Really good podcast.
Touching on all different things, but talking about what's to come in the back end of this, and we're really excited for what's to come. Covering all the finals, not just the grand finals this year. So should be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a great listen, really, to hear Chris and the work that happens behind the scenes and what what everyone's working towards. And this is just a stepping stone. And I think it's good to hear from the boss or the Messiah or whatever you call him. I just call him Chris, but doing a good job. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. And when you do things and you make change, you're always open to criticism. And you know, when people try and do things, you're always open to criticism. But he's got his heart in the right spot, and I think it's going along well.
Definitely.
And you're his protege, is that right?
Look, he likes to think that, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out over time.
It's a dynamic, that one. They're like a Batman and Robin type.
Yeah.
That was a weird relationship as well.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Robin, I'm more of a Batman. But anyway, we'll end it on that one. I'm sure he'll like listening and watching.
He likes hearing his name.
Yeah.
He does.
But yeah, no, it's been great having you back.
It's good to be back.
Another great episode. Can you believe this is episode 21? We've done 21 of these this year.
Madness.
So
we're getting into the really good part of the season now. This is where it all happens, and some big good venues for the finals, and we're looking forward to it.
100%. Well, yep. Thank you for watching another episode, listening to our voices, looking at our faces, and hopefully we'll see you all again next week for another one. Cheers.
This is the Zone Football League.